Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So we're still hovering above the 155 EMA. We haven't had a crossover yet, but we also have this grouping of the oscillators at the moment. Now, this is looking very similar to the Dow Jones. That is the top of my wedge, and here is the bottom of my wedge. So we do also have a potential channel in the mix here. Sorry, I'm drawing lots of diagonals, and diagonals are not really what we should be paying attention to, but it does give you a sense for what is possibly forming here. So move back to the bottom of the channel would be interesting. I think it's going to take, it's going to be looking for a big catalyst one way or another, and at the moment this pullback here, then inside bar, now engulfing bar, a little bit of a confusing setup right now. We are bumping our head on some fairly solid resistance right now. If you look to the left, and if you actually go on to the weekly, you'll see what I'm talking about. This area has influenced price going all the way back to 2018, 2017. So this is a fairly interesting scenario. The next thing that we all need to be very aware of, and that is this yearly trend line that we've had formed so far on the weekly. Look at the oscillators on the weekly. This is an indication that there are buyers coming into here, long-term buyers. So I'm very wary of this zone that we're in at the moment. I don't really want to be long just yet. I want to see pull back onto structure on the lower time frame for an opportunity to get in long. Now, this setup that we're seeing on the weekly is also a wedge, but that's a bull flag. Strong move off the COVID lows for 2 years, pullback for majority of this year. So what is going to happen now? Are we looking at a break for a higher pullback onto this area here for a retest of that breakout, and then another leg down, or are we looking to continue on upwards for new all-time highs? But that's not something that we need to pay attention to on the intraday. That is something you need to pay attention to on your long-term charts. So for me today, this move here was fairly solid entry. Let's just set it there. There was my swing high, nice juicy swing high, and you can see two opportunities there, three opportunities. Your entry would have been above this range bar. Wouldn't have excited me too much, but this little range bar here would have been interesting. That pin bar on the close would have definitely been interesting. And if you have a look at this, so that's your entry just above it, stop below it, so it's a 60-point stop loss, and immediately you would have had a 140-point gain in the next hour. So for me right now, pullbacks need to be bought, and I'm just going to give us a couple of levels. Don't want to be, there we go. So pretty wide zone that we've got, but you don't really want to be just jumping in up here. We are too close to the top of the flag, and we also got overhead resistance here at 13078. So 15-minute charts are the method we want to use. Now you can see I've given you two levels, but we've got two zones here. This little gap down at the close and then gap up at the open, very interesting. But I would suspect, and there's a gap over here as well, so there's a gap there. This zone is going to be retested as far as I'm concerned. So this is the first area, 12,988. I would ignore this 1300 area. I think we're probably going to pop down and then break up again. So between 1300 and 12,988 is what I'd be looking for. If we get through that, I think the next level that you'll find support is going to be at 12,939. So getting down into this zone, and then you're looking for another attempt at this high at 13,078. Now the interesting thing here is if we get through 13,078 and come back and hold it, there is only a 25% probability that we break out of this flag and continue to the upside. But just bear in mind, we've got this weekly trend line up here, which will more than likely be a fairly strong magnet. So what I would suggest is going to happen long term is possibly just a bigger wedge or a bigger consolidation or channel or something. But that is ultimately the level that needs to go, and that's the swing high. That's 13,560. Start getting above 13,560, then you probably find that we have the structure is just a series of waves higher. So yeah, interesting time at the moment. It's been some interesting results coming through, which is obviously impacting price. So let's see what happens. I think for me, pull back onto this area here, 12,939 is definitely a opportunity to buy, but just stick to the lower time frame. Stick to that 15-minute time frame for now. 8 hours looking a little bit overbought, so you want to be looking for an opportunity to get in, get out quickly. So in on these zones, get out of the top, and you can see it'll probably form a channel if it does that. Okay, anyway, that's kind of me today. I hope it helps, and we will catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.